Hey guys, welcome to the lab. This is the premiere episode of Leon in the Lab. I'm going to take you through a series that I started that I thought would be really cool. I love doing views from the vault and covering and previewing hats and reviewing hats, but I wanted to do something that kind of took you behind the scenes. So basically, the premise of the show is going to be I invite various guests from the hat community, sneaker community, all over to join me in the lab where we cook up different things, mostly hats, sometimes jerseys, maybe pins or different products. And I'm going to use some of the relationships that I've built through the years to get these potentially made and for sale for you guys. So this is just something that I don't think really exists out there. It's something that I've been doing for a long time. And I think it's kind of cool for you to experience the process and kind of how I work through and collaborate with different people and get that product made and available to you guys. So I hope you guys enjoy this episode. I brought Joe R., friend of the show, onto the show originally as a test subject to see how it would work. And I think it turned out pretty cool. So let us know in the comments what you think. I really appreciate my first sponsor for the show, Shaheen, and the team over at Still have been great to me and Views from the Vault family. So hope you guys enjoy. Let us know in the comments what you guys think. And yeah, this was a fun experience for me to kind of branch out and start something for myself. So hope you guys enjoy. We have Joe R. in the house today. What we'll be doing is we're going to be taking Joe's idea and bringing it to life in the form of mock-up. And then at the end of this experience, hopefully you'll be able to see this hat for sale someday at Still Canada. So first and foremost, Joe, welcome to the show. How you doing?
I'm doing great, Leon. I'm so excited to be here. It's going to be so much fun to design a hat that maybe if we don't screw it up, we can see this thing come to life in real life. And I'm hoping we can make a couple of different versions tonight, just so that there's plenty to choose from. And I'm excited to talk to you about I know how to design a hat really badly, but I'm excited to kind of have you kind of help me understand, what works best as far as transferring something from a digital experience into the real world. So really excited for this.
Awesome. You've been a long-time supporter. For the people who are frequently in the live chats, Joe R. Is frequently in the comments. We do appreciate you watching live oftentimes, and then if not, commenting normally either the day after or the same night on replay. So you've been a long supporter of the channel. We appreciate you. So had to get you on the show and start cooking. So you sent me something that is very interesting. We've seen a lot of hooks in hats lately, but I don't think anyone's ever wanted to hook Mr. Andre Agassi. So what made you want to do something for Andre Agassi?
Well, I mean, I grew up a tennis player.
Okay.
And I played competitively when I was from like age 9 to like 13. I got ranked in California, actually Northern California and Southern California have two different ranking systems. But when I grew up, I was a big fan of McEnroe, a big fan of Boris Becker, a big fan of Yvonne Lendl. And then Agassi came on and he was kind of a punk. And I didn't, for whatever reason, I didn't like him, but as he got older, I liked him more and more. But one thing I always loved about Agassi was the Nike line, the Challenge Court line that him and McEnroe kind of shared together. And, McEnroe was kind of a little bit more of like, they're re-releasing the Mac Attack, which was kind of the beginning of the Challenge Court line, I would say, this year. And, you and I are working on that custom hat that I'm doing to kind of celebrate that for my friends and family. And I just kind of thought like Agassi's, like he was the first one to like have these kind of faux denim acid washed shorts, and his sneaker line is kind of like a classic sneaker line that people like love to collect. And they just released like kind of they didn't call it the Agassi line, they called it the Challenge Court line about 2, maybe 3 years ago during the US Open. So I just thought it'd be really cool, just because the colors that Agassi used are the volts and the lava reds, and I just thought it would be really cool because he's got so many cool shoes to have a hat kind of hooked to that whole era, and have additional accessories to kind of connect. Because I love tennis clothes. I think that as streetwear, they're really kind of I don't know if undervalued is the right word, but underutilized, just because I think it's classy and it's cool, and it brings me back to my childhood, which I would probably say that most people who are collecting hats and collecting different types of sneakers and streetwear, a lot of it goes straight back to our roots of being kids and being excited. And obviously couldn't afford all that stuff when you're younger, but now you get older and it's like you start hunting for it. And I'm always hunting for Agassi stuff. So I'm really excited to do this because I think it's going to be fun to see what kind of options there are. And more importantly, I'm excited to see what, the lab kind of brings out, the capabilities that the lab has that I don't have. Because I think that's the funnest part about being part of the show tonight, is that, you get to kind of ask questions and try to figure out how to do different things and find out what's possible and what's not possible when it comes to working with New Era.
All right, let's get to work then. So first off, we pulled up the Houston Astros prototype. So for those people who don't know, it's an A with a star, and then it kind of has like a different color fades in it. So that will be interesting how we decide to kind of cover that and color that out. You had mentioned his acid wash jeans, so we pulled like a dark navy denim to use. I have some ideas on where I think it should go, but I'm going to confirm with you, and we're going to kind of play with that together. And then the two colors I kind of pulled right away from the shoes I noticed is that infrared, so that kind of lava red, salmon colorway, and then energy red. So we'll see if it makes it to the design, but I guess first things first is when we're coloring a hat or starting to think about a hat, the easiest place to start is how we're going to color it from the crown in the visor. So do you have any ideas on how you want that started? Are you thinking of a black hat, or are you thinking of more of a lighter, maybe an off-white? What are you leaning towards?
Well, I definitely want to play with the front panel in probably multiple different colors to see how you and I kind of feel about it, because I feel like if we can get the logo to pop off the front panel, we could use black on the front panel and kind of use lava on the rest of the crown and the visor. But I also think it'd be fun to look at it in the reverse, or potentially even to develop 2 or 3 hats that could all be part of a pack, if they all look good. But more importantly, I'd love to be able to kind of build a couple of different hats, and kind of even have you say, hey, listen, I looked at these 3 hats that you guided, but I'd love to have Leon come and say, hey, like, here's an idea that I had while we were building the hats, and then see how you would build the hat as well. Even though we're going to be collaborating on these hats. So I think the first thing I would love to do is try to do that front panel in a lava, in one of the lavas, and then do the back panels and the visor in, I don't know if we're going to be able to do a denim with new era, but I think it would be fun to try to get it passed or try to get it approved, just because if we could put kind of an acid washed black denim on this, or even a blue denim, it might change the colors that we use. But I think I feel like I've seen a black denim, or at least a dark blue denim before from New Era. So I know it's probably not going to look that way on the mock-up, but I think it'd be fun to just at least have that in people's heads, that while we're designing this, that denim, if they could imagine it as a black denim that would be kind of cool.
Yeah. So the first thing, I think this is going to be a cheat code where we kind of put it here on the brim at least. So if you get how do you feel about the denim here?
That would be rad. I mean,
Yeah.
I hadn't even thought of that. I had thought of like, oh, the crown of the crown. But I think if you could get yeah, I think that's probably even better. Like just having the denim on the brim would be really cool, because that was the one thing I was kind of not thinking was going to be cool. Was like I didn't know if I wanted denim on the crown, but I think if it's on the brim, that's actually brilliant. That actually kind of ties the whole thing together, and tells the story. Because at the end of the day, I want people to look at this hat and go, dude, that reminds me of those Agassi shoes. You know what I mean? Or that reminds me of that Agassi line. Without even having to tell them the story.
So let's do this real quick. So right now we're gonna just see how this looks. We'll see how it comes out. But right now we have denim on the top visor, denim on the side, and then probably denim button, right?
Yeah. Give you the color.
Yeah. So basically, instead of coloring the whole piece a certain color, we're just using this texture and creating a clipping mask. So whatever you see here just becomes that texture.
That's rad. I think that'd be a pretty good, when Leon in the lab kind of tutorial for people, because I can guarantee you there's people that are going to be watching this, they're going to want to recreate that.
Yeah, we'll do a little addendum at the end. And then in terms of the front patch, so you picked the ever so popular prototype logo. Have you thought about which side patch you want to utilize?
I haven't thought of the side patch. I was hoping we could have some fun and kind of look at the options, just because with it being a Houston, there's not really a tie to Agassi to Houston. So I'm hoping that, Agassi is considered a Hall of Famer. So ideally I'd like to do some sort of like all-star something, or maybe a year that ties into when Agassi won something. But I figured that would be a kind of a fun experiment for us, to kind of like look at the options on the patches, even if we're not going to even be able to use the patch. Like New Era, I still think it'd be fun just for the mock-up to kind of put it there. And, if people are unhappy with whatever New Era approves later, but at least it would whatever patch we put on here, the coloring would essentially probably be the same. So, that would be cool. And the A, I felt like the A is almost just perfect, obviously, for Agassi. I mean, I could go with, a team I grew up loving, which was the Oakland A's, but the A just kind of looks like it's got that motion, the way of like, a tennis ball kind of, a lot of tennis ball logos show like it's in motion. So,
or even this could even act like a tennis racket in motion, smashing the ball.
Yeah.
You can think about coloring that little star, maybe like a volt green to represent.
I think that's the idea. Just having more options to play with in the colors, with the shoes and his fashion line. Just felt like it'd be a little bit more interesting than just putting a single colored A's patch, or finding in Atlanta or something like that, because we don't have as many options with that.
Yeah, was there a specific Grand Slam that he won, or any type of time?
Yeah, I mean, he won. He has the career Grand Slam, so he's won every single tournament. Okay. He won the Australian, he won the U.S. Open, he won the last big one that he won was Wimbledon, which was like kind of late in his career, which was a really big tournament for him. So like I guess what I'll do on my side is I'll pull up Agassi Grand Slam wins, because he played in a lot of finals when he was young, but he lost like 2 French Open finals, but then he got really good towards the end of his career.
I almost feel like he battled a lot of McEnroe early, and then he had to deal with Pete Sampras, right?
Yeah, so that was really his thing, was that like he kind of came up through. I mean, people will say that the tennis players today are better. I'll just say that the rackets are better. But like there was so many more personalities and like people who had you knew about way more players, because there was more chances for players to win, because it wasn't like they were always Like now it's just like, okay, Federer won or Djokovic won or Nadal won, and for a little while it was Andy. I can't remember Andy's name, but the guy from Britain, him. So it's like it's kind of been like kind of boring, in my opinion, because it's like always the same guys are winning and there's less personalities on the tour. But yeah, so like he won Wimbledon in or U.S. Open in '99, and he won in '94. So I don't know if there's any patches because you're looking at that. '92 he won Wimbledon, which was a big one for him. In the French Open he won in '99. So let me get back on our screen.
I have an 04 All-Star game for Houston or 86 for Houston as well.
Let's look at both of those logos, just because the All-Star angle to me seems like it's pretty cool, just because he's kind of an All-Star in the sense that he's a Hall of Famer.
So there's that one. This one kind of looks like we could turn this into a tennis ball.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Let's look at the. I mean, I know that 86 patch is really cool. I just want to make sure if we do it, I just want to make sure it like kind of ties into.
The 86 is the horseshoe.
Yeah, I mean, to me, it's a more interesting patch. And I don't know how to tie it, but I don't, you said something last night on Views from the Vault, which was, I thought was pretty smart, which is that like, if you get too tied into a hook, you're not going to have as cool of a hat because you're going to be doing things that fit in with the hook. So I think I thought that was really smart. And it kind of changed the way I thought about thinking about doing mock-ups in the future. So yeah, let's use the 86 patch because it's such a better patch.
Okay.
And it's just more, to me, it's just more interesting. And I think we could do more interesting things. I love the aspect that you came up with as far as that ball. And, who knows, maybe we'll need to change it if it can't get approved. But I think that 86 patch is just a overall better patch.
Perfect. Let me just pull up a good version of it. Have you ever seen Agassi play live?
You know what? I don't think I did. I mean, I actually was a ball boy at the U.S. Open for 6 years.
Okay.
So I did it, and I was kind of obvious. You would have thought, like, at 38 years old, I would be like one of the oldest ball boys, but I wasn't even close. There was this guy, Jerry, who was like 66, and it was really fun. And I had so much fun. I kept doing it. I did 2 years, and then I missed a year because I couldn't get off work because it's like 3 weeks you have to like dedicate to going to the U.S. Open every day. So I would basically take a vacation to go work at the U.S. Open and get paid $8 an hour to run around with teenagers on the court. But yeah, it was really fun.
How old were you when you did this?
38 to 44.
Oh my God. Okay.
So it was really cool. The gear was really cool. I mean, I should have kept more of the stuff. I kind of gave some of the stuff away, but I still have a lot of it. I love this. There's a couple of jackets that I want to hook a hat to, maybe on a different project. But yeah, back when I was 12, I ball boyed a tournament and when I was still playing tennis, and like McEnroe was in that tournament. But yeah, I mean, I think I've seen everybody play. I didn't do those. It's hard to get to good matches. It's a whole nother show to talk about how the politics of getting good matches as a ball boy are. But yeah, I've seen pretty much everybody play live. I don't think I've ever watched Agassi exactly live, but I could be wrong because I watched so much tennis on TV, especially when I was a kid. But yeah, no, I mean, Agassi had his own style and hit the ball so hard, and he's somewhat close to my age. I mean, he's like 4 or 5 years older than me, but I almost got sent to the same tennis academy. Not just good, I was pretty good, but like you didn't have to be like a star to go to the voluntary tennis academy. That's where like Agassi went to school, and that's where like Sampras. But when my parents brought it up, I was like, I like playing baseball and basketball still. I'm not going to go play tennis 100%. And then a year later, I quit tennis. I just got too lonely hitting on a tennis ball machine by myself every day. But yeah, but my love for tennis never went away, and I still play, and I still have a lot of fun watching it.
That's awesome. So a lot of transferable motions between tennis and baseball. I think you mentioned you
yeah, I mean, just being on a court, competing, having a ball. I mean, that was the thing I loved about being a ball boy was my baseball background. Like I had the even at 38, I had a better arm than probably 95% of the other kids out there. And it's so much fun. It's like that's all you're going is like you're catching a ball that's coming at you really fast on a serve. That was always like kind of like a highlight that all the ball boys would talk about if you stuck a serve. There's actually if you Google me, you can find out they wrote a tiny little article back on ESPN about me and some of their ball boys. They wanted to do an article about me, and I was like, dude, I'm the least interesting story here. Go do it on these other ball boys. So I'll send you that link that talks about this ball I caught that was about to hit me in the nuts. But just catching the ball and like getting to be in a stadium and throwing a ball as hard as you can across the other side of the street. Like nobody in the stadium cares, but you're just like the other ball boys are like, damn, that was a good throw.
That's funny. You guys having like internal competitions on
totally
ball boy better. All right, so I got the 86 up here for now. Are we wanting to maybe turn the horseshoe into a tennis ball, or are we going to keep
no that? I mean, I think back to your point, I would like this to be a hat that really kind of matches and listen, I think we could that's the fun of being on. That was the whole fun of when we talked about me being on the show. Leon was like, hey, like it's gonna be so much fun to kind of like do multiple versions of all of these of the logos and the patches to kind of see what works, because I don't want to feel, and you know better than me because you design hats, but I'm sure it feels pretty shitty to always feel like shit, I only got one bite at this apple and I got to get it right, because I mean shit in totality I usually buy two hats anyways, and I'd love to have the opportunity to buy two hats that are very similar that have kind of little changes in them, because I'll know when I'm wearing each one of them why I'm choosing to wear that hat that day. So I think it'd be fun to play around with any kind of ideas that you have. I don't really like. I really like it when the side patch kind of pops, but I don't like it when the side patch like takes over. But I'm also really bad at coloring side patches. I usually am like 2-3 colors and like just want to make sure that it can be seen, because I always envision whenever I'm doing a mock-up, I don't want Leon to say on Views from the Vault, if he was reviewing it, that it's washed. So I want to make sure that it's not washed and that everything's pretty clear. But I don't know. Should we start with the logo on the front first and then try to kind of match it to things? How do you usually do things, Leon? Like when you
I usually do start with the front, now that I think about it. Yeah, so let's start with the front. Bring this bad boy to the front. All right, so what are you thinking here? Do we want to keep?
Can we take the background away? Because I'd love to just kind of look at what it looks like now, and then kind of play with the colors. Because I think obviously we want to keep that A, if it's going to be on that front panel, that laval, like we're going to want to keep that A some sort of a dark color. I don't know if black is the right color, but picking those other 3 colors I think might be kind of paramount to like what that thing looks like.
Yeah. Are you okay with seeing how it'll look with the lime first?
Yeah, totally. I mean, listen,
throw the lime in there first.
That's the fun part about this.
All right. Maybe make it remind me the lines on the ball is white, right?
Yeah, the lines on the ball are white.
Cool. So we'll leave that for now. The first color, if it's going on the red background, you kind of want a dark color to make it pop, and then the light colors would go here, I would say, because you already have such a bright color.
Totally.
I would probably keep this black, and then I would take the darker of the 2 infrareds, and I would put it closer, and then the lighter one, and then because the shoe has some gray in it or some white, you could think about, well, the white you could leave as the outline, and then the gray you can put in between.
Okay.
So we could see how that looks for now. I'll show you what I'm talking about. So the darker, then the lighter, and then the gray. So the darker here. So we color this the darker color. Then we go to the lighter color and then in between would be the gray. How do you think that looks?
Could you switch the gray to after the black so it's more of like a
linear transition?
We want to try to get some sort of emotion in an ideal world. So maybe those things like, so it kind of looks like there's progression moving forward. I don't know. Maybe it's the and I don't mind it having, you know, other colors. That's why I think the side patch will be interesting. But like the in my head, but I can't reiterate it, is like this A would look like it was moving. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. Let me see here. Because like I feel like if you don't have anything strong in between these two pinks, it's gonna look the same. So like watch. So here is the darker one, and here's the lighter one. There's almost not enough difference.
Yeah. I wonder if we could put like, what do you? I mean,
like we could put another color.
I kind of like the way that orange looks.
Okay.
Like that to me kind of looks like, you know, hey, there's movement going. So I'm not opposed to that. But hey, for fun, maybe can we try that green there? The green that's in the
yeah, definitely.
I mean, it might look weird because green and all that stuff kind of could be weird, but I don't know. Maybe we could have. I'd love to build two hats and put both of those logos on it and just and go which one looks better. You know, that's the one thing I feel like, you know. I know we don't have that much time on this show, but like, you know, maybe your editing skills will be able to cut out a bunch of stuff, but like, it'd be super cool to like, you know, look at all these hats kind of back to back and be like, oh, that's the winner, you know, because it usually takes me 10 hours to do a hat because I make like 5 of them.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah, we could just put one logo on the front view and one logo on the side view, and that's usually, we could maybe kill 2 birds with 1 stone.
I already hit it, yeah. So let me put this here for now. So we got 2 options kind of that we can decide. This almost looks like a car logo. Like CNN filters or something.
Yeah.
Interesting. All right. So the front is done. So now we got to look at the side patch. What I noticed is this is the logo that's actually in the catalog for New Era.
Which one?
The 86.
Oh, it is.
Yeah. Well, this is like the logo that they give us. But when you go and order the hat, it looks a little different.
Oh, interesting.
So you see how
it's got that H at the top.
Yeah, it doesn't have. It has the H, but whatever. We'll
I mean, still, the cool part about it is the the horseshoe. So so that's what I think is it makes it look cool.
Yeah. The unfortunate thing is, if you look at it, remember we had that conversation off camera about beveled stars. That looks like a beveled star.
Oh, yeah.
They don't even stitch that way. So they're teasing us. And then the 86 actually is just one color with an outline. So
yeah,
we'll design that with that in mind. So I like the 86 when the horseshoe is one full metallic color.
Okay.
Because that will really give it the pop. So either you can go with like a silver, a copper.
Let's try copper. I mean, I feel like copper is like the hot thing right now. I feel like it's such a nice contrast to everything, and the silver sometimes can lead to that washed look. But I don't know. Let's try and see what looks best, because I might just have too much copper on my mind right now because I see all this great copper threading getting used. There might not even be any left. Toppers is using all of it.
Copper star. All right, so that's kind of how that would look. Before we add that, I think we should think about changing the star colors.
Yeah, let's do the star colors in a dark color. I don't care if it's black. Like, I'm not too married to anything, but like, maybe we could play with a couple of different options once it's done. But like, yeah, those as long as the stars can get seen, I think that's kind of probably the more important thing than, you know, trying to be too tricky with like a fancy color or fancy thread.
Mm-hmm.
How does it work when like you turn in a logo for a side patch? Like, is it basically just like, hey guys, try to make it look like this, and their computer program is like, all right, well, we're just going to take your suggestions, and you know, and then you just got to be happy with however it comes out, or
that's when you start having to get a good relationship with your rep. So basically, the rep is supposed to really do this with you over the phone. But I'm an impatient person, and I would rather just be like, okay, here you go. This is how I want it. And then there's some practical things that you got to learn, like where thread stops are, and so like a lot of times, like you see this red here. If you change the red color, sometimes you have to really see the file. Sometimes the red is tied to this red, and it's tied to that red. It's tied to that red.
So sometimes you'll get back a different patch than what you turn in, and it'll
there's
nothing
like,
you can do about it.
They'll be like, unfortunately, like the gold on the 86 is tied to the All-Star game, so you wouldn't be able to do like blue 1, you know, green 9, and whatever. So usually, my rule of thumb is if I see a color together, I usually try to, if I change that one color, I'll change all the colors.
That's cool.
So that's why like all the stars became black, basically.
Got it.
Do you want to leave this red in? We could change it to the infrared, but the whole hat is infrared though. Oh no, this will be denim. Yeah, this will be denim. So
yeah, no, I think let's try to change the red to like match shoes or the shirt or whatever, because I think that it would tie it together nicely. But let's take a look at what it looks like.
Yeah,
I mean, it's a pretty simple color scheme when you really break down what we're trying to hook to. So I feel like we don't want to stay too true to the hook, just because you said, like, we would just end up with something that's like kind of boring. So like that's why it'll be fun to play around with this patch and kind of put fun little colors in it, as opposed to just trying to stay totally. But I think it makes sense to put it where the red is. It already kind of looks like that.
Yeah, exactly. And then the All-Star game, that color with the 1986. What color do you want those to be?
I mean, what do you think? Is it going to have that little white outline?
No,
it won't.
It won't.
Okay.
It's so just straight color.
Do you think it's smart to put it in copper as well, or do you think gold works there? Like, what do you think is going to happen there? It looks like it's already gold, kind of.
Yeah. So I think if you want to keep it a metallic color, which is fine, I would put it to like a metallic silver to at least give it some more contrast. I think gold on copper might not translate well.
Yeah, that's why I was excited about doing this, is because there is no, it's so hard to figure out whether or not it's gonna look good or not. Hey, it's fun to send something out, see what the rep comes back with, and and then you gotta wait for that hat to come in. It's almost like old school photography,
Yeah.
You wait till the film is developed, and then you're stoked or you're bummed. But I've been doing a lot of photography kind of side projects with all this film I used to work with when I first became a photographer, a hat photographer, but a photographer back when I took my dad's camera and just kind of taught myself how to take photos. I took a couple classes, but like my photos I hated like 20 years ago that I'm going back and looking at today, I like the ones that I hated 20 years ago, and I don't like the ones that I like, because the ones I hated were kind of like slightly off. They had some motion in them that they did not look perfect, but like you don't get that today. So now that it looks so different, I like photographs from old photographs that I had, because they have motion built into them because of the way you set up the camera to take the shot. So starting to appreciate older things now.
Nice. So let's see here. We got the 86 colored up. Move it.
Oh, I just got an idea.
What's up?
So let's change that orange on the front patch to copper.
Okay, we could do
You know
that.
what I'm talking about?
Yeah, that's easy.
We'll have one bar of copper bleeding into it, and then it'll give it that little, pop.
Yeah, we could do that. That's a good idea. That way, it's not just a random piece.
Yeah, it's not just some random color, which we tied it into the things. Yeah, because I'm as much as I kind of like that. The green's just not working on the front panel. I love the green in the A because it's perfect. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because it perfectly helps tell that story. But that other green, it's like it's just gonna throw me. It's gonna throw me off. It would be one of those things like if I saw it in the store, I'd be like, really like this hat, but there's one thing about it that's just kind of throwing me off. It'd be like only fun to wear with a hat with a shoe that had that green in it. But Volt and green is kind of, or lava and green are kind of little close to Christmas for me.
Yeah, it's Grinch like.
Yeah.
All right, so there you have it.
Yeah, man. I really like it. Now I would love to see. I'd like to try it in the front panels in that other pink.
Okay.
Just to kind of look at it, but I think it'd just be fun to look at. And I'd also love to try the lava on the reverse the panel and put a black panel on it. And then I don't know, and then I'd love to just see you try to, change it into whatever you think it should be.
Okay. All right. So this is the other pink. So energy red as opposed to lava red.
Yeah, I like the lava red better.
Okay.
What do you think?
I like the lava red better.
Yeah,
I think it matches the shoe perfectly.
Yeah.
All right, so basically right here, we're working on the second version of the hat. We're going to spare you the details. It ended up not being what we wanted, and we kind of threw it away in the end. But it's still kind of cool to see us kind of work through the process. But I think we ended up moving the denim to the front of the cap and then having infrared all around. Joe's a person that really likes front panel hats, meaning the color of the hat in the front two panels are different. He wouldn't really want to move off that, but ultimately we ended up scrapping this design. And then the one I would make would be like this. So I would do this like an off-white color. Off-white chrome. Yeah, this I would keep infrared, and then the under I would make it the denim.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, and then here I would probably go back to the green on this side on the last piece, just to give it.
Yeah, I like that green with that copper, like on the side patch, and then how it kind of goes into the ball.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's really cool.
Maybe copper here. Oops. Maybe copper here, because there's copper in your side patch. Yeah, that's how I would do it. Off-white, infrared, denim under, So for me, like my thinking is like you have like a special material, but you kind of have it hidden almost.
Yeah, yeah.
I know there's gonna be people that are gonna be scared of like, oh, it looks like a black nasty or whatever. But like once you get closer, you'll see that it's a a navy denim, and that kind
Yeah,
of
no, I
adds
mean
to the
it looks cool, especially if they can get that denim to look cool. I mean, I don't care about black nasties. It doesn't like I don't. The only time I don't like a bright colored undervisor just because I think it throws off the hat sometimes because it's
okay.
just that. But like I'm not somebody who hates black nasties.
Yeah,
Um,
because my other thinking would be to do an infrared bottom after you said you don't like bright unders, but
well,
it would
no, but
be
like an infrared
infrared
bottom on an
denim.
infrared hat doesn't bother me. Like
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like if it makes sense, it makes sense. It's just like I'll clarify. When it's like somebody will make like an orange hat and put a bright yellow under on it, and I'm like, I'll still buy it because I still like the hat, but like
It's
it'll
too much.
always bother me when I see this bright yellow under. It's really more like when you have like a super bright color, like a muted lava red kind of. That makes sense to me because it's muted. It's just that it's that brightness of it sometimes.
Yeah.
Sometimes I don't like pink unders at all because sometimes like pink and green to me like don't look good together. So like if there's like a pink undervisor and then there's like a green hat or like a green bill, like sometimes it just throws my eye off and like it's not. I don't care. It still looks like a great hat, but like for me, it's like it would make me not feel comfortable wearing the hat, which is how I judge hats. I don't judge hats based on anything other than like would I feel comfortable wearing it? Because there's a million hats that look really good that I can't feel comfortable wearing, and that's whether I'm gonna buy it or not. But they still look if it looks good to somebody else, great. It fucking looks rad. It's just for me, I just be like, oh, I can't wear that hat. It doesn't look good on me.
Yeah. So the other way would be to flip the visor. So you do denim on top and then infrared on the bottom.
Yeah, that would be cool. I wonder if there's a way if we could put the denim on that green that's on that last that last bar that you just made green. Is there a way to put like it's impossible? I guess you can't stitch denim.
No, so you could do a color match. So it'd be like a dark navy.
Yeah, let's look at that just in case that green isn't for everybody. I just would love to see like,
Oops.
Because it's actually a black kind of it's I feel like they do make it would be more of like I guess it would be kind of more of like a sparkly gray type of green because it would be trying to match what the shorts look like. You can kind of go back and take that 86 All-Star Game patch and show them what those shorts look like.
I have the shorts here somewhere. I hid them. I definitely didn't delete it. I just hid it. Here.
There, yeah. See how it's like that. So like maybe we put that first bar kind of like a gray or silver. Maybe we try even a silver on that first bar where it's blue.
Yeah, that could look good. I think that's one of our first tries. We had that as silver, and then
that looks pretty cool. And then it kind of ties it. And then it kind of ties it in because my only fear of having that green bar is that it kind of takes it away from. It takes it a little bit further away from the hook. I think that having the green for the ball, like it's kind of on the hook, is good. And then where that is, it tells a story. But like having that silver because the shorts are kind of silvery, and that to me that would be the way that would be the only adjustment I would make to your hat because I think that would really pop.
I dig it. The shoes have like a splatter with the red and the infrared and the black, so that's cool. But a lot of the accents are like gray, and then the shoe's white. So I think this is almost like a perfect hook to the shoe. Then you add the flare of the denim because of the outfits that he wore. I think it's like a really good. And
this kind of looks like your hat, the one you made, looks more like a tennis hat because guys they all wear like white hats, when they're on the court. So like this would be like something that Agassi would actually wear that Nike would have designed. Like he wouldn't have worn a black hat or you know what I mean on the court because his head would have gotten too hot. So I think that's really good. So yeah, should we finish off with the Batterman at the back and see what kind of colors we want to do on that Batterman?
Yeah, so the Batterman's easy. Let me pull up the MLB logo. Now,
and I'm gonna use this opportunity, Leon.
Hmm?
What is the deal with like why do people care about flat baddies versus all these other things? Like, is it just the fact that they don't like the way that it looks raised and people like it when it's flattened? Because I've never cared in my life, and I played baseball my whole life.
Yeah,
or at least until I was 22 years old. So like I'm just always interested, like why, like what is the kind of secret behind like why people prefer one versus the other? Because I don't have a preference, and I'm always interested. Like people seem to get really excited and have created this term flat baddie, and I'm like, okay, does it mean that? I would not buy a hat because it didn't have a flat Batterman on it.
So first things first is the Batterman was introduced in 1993. So prior to that, there was nothing on the back of a hat.
Oh wow, okay.
So the first Batterman was the rounded flat Batterman, and then I think 2006 or 2000 and whatever they became raised. But New Era went back and they put in what's called a Cooperstown Batterman. So instead of it being rounded edges, it's a square edge. So you see how it's square edge.
Yeah,
and he's wearing like the Stargell helmet as opposed to like the
it's like a shorter bill.
Yeah,
it's like more of it looks like his hat it looks like it's kind of more of a square cap.
Yeah, so this is the Batterman that like Hat Club made kind of popular. It's got the like two outlines. I don't know if you can see it here.
Got it. Yeah, I can see that.
It's got two outlines on it. That's like the typical like Hat Club style Batterman. That's what kind of got pushed to the masses. But if you look at like old retros from '93, you'll see the rounded Batterman. That's the one I like personally, and I don't mind the current raised Batterman. But what some of the stores did, and admittedly even me when I was making hats early, we started using the raised Cooperstown Batterman, and that one is just all kind of crazy. So people don't like that one.
Cool. So what do you think we should do with this Batterman? I mean, do you think we could make one and it'll work on all three hats?
Yeah.
Or do you think, okay.
Yeah. Well, I think so. Normally, as a rule of thumb, now I don't always have to do this, but I normally like to put the darkest color I use of the hat on the blue side, and then the lightest color I use on the hat on this side, and then whether we make the white we turn into black, that's totally up to you. Most of the time,
I mean, if they would let us do copper as the batter guy, I thought that would be cool to have him be copper. I kind of like on one other hat that I did a mock-up on, I just did the whole inside of it the same color to kind of keep it kind of clean. But I'm looking for your expertise here because I don't know if you want to put like.
What sucks is I think the outline and the ball is tied together, but if we could have just made that green, that would have been like a cool touch. I don't think it's possible.
Well, maybe let's make the outline. Let's make him green and let's see what happens.
All right, so he's crazy. He's looking crazy. He's green, and then this color would be
I think that might turn people off.
Yeah,
I would hate people to be like, love that hat, but that Batterman just fucked the whole thing up.
Yeah.
So I mean, I'm gonna divert to like I think that looks really cool. You know what I mean? But you tell me.
What would you color in the
like that's color? What I'm saying. I kind of don't know. Like whenever I get, that's what I was saying. Like when I made my other mock-ups, like I don't know what to do, so I just go like the most conservative route. But I don't want to hamstring you here. Yeah. So I would much rather hand this over to you and be like, this is the color the Batterman should be.
Yeah, if you like the copper, I would put the copper here.
Okay.
I would put the infrared here and leave this white, or even maybe even black.
That black looks tight.
Yeah. So like that's how I would probably do it. Yeah, because the black makes sense because it's a white hat. So yeah, that's your Batterman.
That's rad.
Yeah. And you said you don't have a preference? Raised, Cooperstown?
I don't care. Listen, like, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I'm always just like, it's the last thing I care about. Like, I don't even ever look at the Batterman, or like, I don't even care about the, I'm not specific on like the New Era flag.
Mm-hmm.
I'm always just like, all right, cool. I kind of like people seeing that stick out that it says New Era, so that people know it's a New Era hat. But
Yeah. I
again,
just know that sometimes with the Cooperstown, they just mess it up, even if it's no fault of the store, but like kind of, I don't know if you can see it. He
yeah, no,
he's
it looks
mad.
fucked up. It looks like he's got a. It's like a. It kind of looks like he's got like a kind of a flat penis head. So,
Yeah. And then
yeah,
Brian made
yeah. If
Brian
you're
from
wearing
Hat
this
Heaven.
today, you know, where like there, I like a traditional. I like this one. Like,
Yeah.
would always use this one.
Yeah, but Brian from Hat Heaven used to do this one where he would like add the details in and color it, and people did not mess with that.
Cool. So can we go back to the original one and put this Batterman on it and look at all four sides?
Yes. Let me see.
What are your thoughts on the eyelets?
I would keep them white.
Keep them white.
Yeah, I would keep them white. And this is just a New Era flag, right? Yeah, this is just a New Era flag. So we almost should just flip this. All right, this part of the video might be a little bit boring for some, so we're going to speed it up for you and give you guys a little bit of a time lapse. Basically, what we're doing is taking the two views of the hat and applying it to the full view, and give you guys a bigger picture of what the cap will look like. Wanted to take some time out to thank our sponsor for the show, Still Canada, and shout out to anyone who's made it this far to the video. Thank you for rocking with me, but yeah, hope you guys enjoy the rest of the video here. And the rest of it is the black. All right. Boom.
Boom.
All
So we
right.
just got to put that Batterman on there, and then choose an under. I'm interested to see what color. I wonder if we're going to both choose the same color under.
If it's this hat, I would probably do gray.
Yeah, I was thinking gray, but I also thought it might be interesting to do blue. I mean, not blue, green, good green.
Okay.
Just because it might be interesting to do like the good green on the white hat and gray on this hat.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
But how would we show the under? All right, this is the part of the video where I realized I did not have the under visor part of the mock-up, so it will be ready for the future episodes, I promise. All right, so what are you thinking for yours? Green, Kelly
gray.
Green,
gray. I agreed with I think the gray just makes the most sense because it's clean. But I thought like on your white one, it might be interesting to have the green one. But I don't know.
Yeah, no, I agree because it's so much white.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I kind of like that, dude. I kind of love both these hats, dude.
Yeah, they're good. They're good. Yep, right here. Basically just taking the two mock-ups and putting it onto one screen. Make it easy for you guys to vote. Make sure you guys are in the comments voting on which hat you like. Okay, we're back. So we figured out the unders, the UV colors. So I know for hat collectors that is very important. We figured out how we're gonna color the Battermans because we all know that that's weirdly very important to the hat collectors. And then now we've put them side by side. Now we have the one that we worked on together, and then the one that I kind of took a little bit more of a lead on, and we kind of put them side by side so that we can get you guys to vote on it. So basically, we have the top version, which features more of the denim throughout the hat. So we got it on the visor, the rest of the crown with a salmon infrared front. Um, and then we have the off-white um, version with the infrared top, and then the green, um, the Kelly green under. So that one's a little bit more reserved, but to me it matches the shoe a little bit more. Yours is more of the Agassi outfit hook almost because he's all crazy and out there. So we'd love to hear from you guys in the comments. Which one would you like to see made? You know, is it A, the outfit, or B, the shoes? Or C, both. So we'll see. Hopefully, we'll have a good result. But before
Yeah,
we sign,
what I love about your design, uh, Leon, is that it's more of like a traditional tennis hat because you're not going to see too many tennis players wearing a dark hat out on the court. So I think like if Agassi was going to wear a hat, it would look more like this because it would be more white.
okay.
Just it's a totally clean hat, and I really like how you've got the green under on it just because it kind of helps kind of everything kind of pop and feel like a baseball hat. So I mean, I'm really stoked on both of these hats. I had only kind of envisioned a little bit of the top one, and I was having a really hard time thinking about a side patch which would work. And so that's why where your ability to kind of make side patch magic happen and tie it into the into the kind of little tennis ball green color that is in the star. I'm so happy with how both of these hats turned out, and hopefully we could get both of them made. But because I'd rock either one of them because they really totally capture Agassi for me in a way that I don't know if anyone's ever made a tennis hat before, but maybe we can get people to start hooking more people to tennis hats because tennis players have awesome style.
Yeah, and oftentimes they are wearing a hat, but it's more so like a more performance based. So it's usually like some sort of nylon or
Yeah, it's not a cool hat. If I was still playing tennis, like when I was a kid, like I would always get off on like wearing basketball shoes because I loved playing basketball and I hated like showing up in tennis shoes until like I had like the Mac Attacks. But like I used to wear this pair of Ewings on when I played in tournaments. It probably didn't help me play
yeah,
that much. But, like I wanted to be a little bit different, which is why I liked Agassi, is because he did totally look different. But yeah, no, it's the funny thing is now that I'm older, I go back to all these other classic tennis shoes, like the ones that Edberg wore or the Lendl wore. And I can't get enough of them. I got to start wearing more of them now that I'm not stuck in the house for pandemic anymore.
yeah,
But yeah, so I mean, this was a really great experience. So much fun, like being able to have somebody make magic and cut down the time because this would have taken me if I tried to make two hats like these, number one, they wouldn't have come out very well. And number two, it would have taken me 5 hours. And this is going to have, I think we probably got through this in like an hour and 20 minutes. And everything the magic that I wanted to happen happened because you were able to do this stuff so quickly. So hopefully people enjoyed, watching this process.
yeah. Glad I could help you out. Sometimes getting the vision on paper and translating that's the nitty gritty. That's the fun part of being in the lab. So appreciate you taking the time to come and join me to share in the creative process. Is always a fun and cathartic experience. But yeah, this is the stuff I love about hats, to really do a deep dive into the storytelling, and it is a conversation piece. There's not going to be a time where you're not going to be proud if you're walking around with this hat to tell people what it's about. So I'm glad that you could share in that experience.
Yeah.
And there you have it, episode one, Leon and Lab in the books. I want to thank Joe R for taking the time to come out and spend time with me to, see the process through. Andre Agassi is a guy I didn't know too much about growing up, but it was fun to kind of know him a little bit better and make something that could potentially honor his legacy. I wanted to take some time to appreciate the sponsor of the show, Still. Shaheen and the team have been great to the Views from the Vault team and I. So hopefully we'll be able to show you guys what we got cooking coming soon. But yeah, I hope you guys liked the episode. Let us know in the comments what you thought, things we could have done differently, colors you would have used, maybe different logos you would have used. But I hope you guys really enjoyed this experience. It was a really cool thing for me to do, to kind of branch out on my own, to make something for you guys to enjoy. So let us know in the comments. Hopefully you guys will like, subscribe, and support the channel. But yeah, peace out, guys.
Brought to you by VFTV.